Hello, you're welcome to Opinion Sharers. My name is Paul. It's a pleasure to welcome you again to the show. In the past 3 weeks, we've been talking about corruption in Nigeria. And today is no different. We just want to continue from where we stopped. This is going to be like the part three. But instead of just calling it part three, we've decided to look at the way forward, the solution. Or, if possible, if you want to dream big, uh, let's say, how do we eradicate corruption in Nigeria? I think somebody was talking to me about it over the week and said that is more like a utopia. So, and I think it was Tosin that said maybe we can just think about reducing the corruption if you cannot eradicate it. So, and I agree completely. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. How do we eradicate, reduce, cut down on, or way forward, away from corruption in Nigeria? So, but let's quickly go share the link. Let's log in and share the link. We are live on Facebook. Let's go and share the link so that other people who are interested in the topic would join us. Please, if you have the link, you can share so that there will be no time waste. Okay.
You are muted, Paul.
I am trying to go to the page itself to be able to, do find a way to. There's a way you invite people to the search lives, which is to type followers on it. So that's what I'm trying to do.
You are muted.
Sorry, I'm muted. Let's introduce ourselves, starting with the village boy.
Okay, I am the village boy. It's a pleasure to be your midst again today to discuss this very important issue facing our country.
Thank you very much, sir. Tosin, introduce yourself.
Hi, friends. I'm Citizen Oluwatosin. Welcome to another show. Tonight, we believe any time you spend with us will be informative. We share a lot of information on this show always. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hi everyone.
Sure.
I'm Shonibare Abiodun Olumide. Someone of the podcast studio, and I'm glad to be here tonight. I'm happy to be among you guys to discuss this vital and important issue that is currently affecting our country, and which we hope by God's grace we're going to have a very nice solution to it soon, by God's grace.
Thank you very much. So, guys, a little bit of background just for the sake of those who might be joining us for the first time. This is the third session. So we started the discussion by introducing ourselves, our viewers, to the topic corruption. What is corruption? We look at the background. We look at how it has affected or impacted individuals. And now we'll be looking beyond that. And that is to say, how do we move forward? Not saying it seemed too ambitious to say we want to eradicate corruption, but then humans are allowed to dream. So that's why to be moderate, we'll be looking at the way forward. How do we cut down on it at least? To reduce the level of the magnitude or maybe the number of people that are tendency to be corrupt amongst our people. So I will just go straight to the point by asking questions. Village boy, in your view, how do we move forward looking at all that we have discussed?
Thank you very much. Like you rightly said, talking about eradicating corruption is a tall ambition, which is not realisable. Like from the first insert, the first section, I remember I opened that corruption has always been there with man, with humanity, and corruption is not limited to Nigeria. Yes, we also agree that corruption in Nigeria has assumed the level of wickedness, the level of it's kind of an albatross. That notwithstanding, to think of eradicating it is a dream that is not realizable. And also, there was an attempt to break down corruption into two broad categories, which we say corruption of need and corruption of greed. Each of these corruption will require different solution to move forward. We identify the corruption of need, which is a result of denial of what ordinarily you are entitled to by other people, either who are more powerful or who are just bullying you to that. So to address the issue of corruption of needs, the first thing is social justice. If we have social justice, it will be easier to address the issue of corruption of needs. What do I mean by this? For instance, people of my generation, we all attended public school, and because it is made available to everybody, irrespective of your status in society, irrespective of the class you belong to. So people it's people called universal primary, compulsory primary education then in the Western region, for instance. Then it moved on to secondary school during the Second Republic in 1979. So when you give access to people to have education, and even in some rural community, you have what you have primary health care center, dispensary, and all those ones where people can go and treat basic ailment like malaria, like fever, like all stuff like that. Then you have attempt to at least construct some roads. So when you have this kind of social justice where somebody is not denied employment because his father is a farmer or his mother is a petty trader, if he makes a good grade or she makes a good grade, she can apply for a job, like for instance in Central Bank. He can apply for a job in NNPC based on his qualification, based on his her degree or academic achievement. The person will have direct access. Maybe writing up two tests. If the person passes out two tests, the person can be employed without knowing anybody from other. So this, when you do all this one, you'll be able to reduce the incidences of corruption of need. On the other hand, when you talk about corruption of greed, I don't want us to look it from the angle of elites alone. It's not elites that are greedy. Even in our local, uh, basic human relation, you see somebody who has just advantage. Even a class captain can choose to become greedy when something is allocated to the class and the class captain wants to corner everything. For those kind of corruption, the way to reduce it is to enforce rule of law. When somebody has done something wrong, that person is duly punished after due process has been applied. Again, I know that the concern today now is like, even if you go to court, the court itself is corrupt. I mean, judiciary is corrupt. So it's like a very terrible situation. Where do you now go to? If there are punishments for violations, if there are reprimand for this, if we can reduce impunity, then we'll be able to address the corruption of greed. So one requires social justice, one requires the upholding of rule of law to uh, to reduce. In between these two lies the issue of moral renaissance. We have to bring back like the Yoruba will say, our Omoluabi ethos, where we value relationship, where we empathize with others, where we think about others. I mean, which is the biblical injunction, love your neighbor as yourself. If I love my neighbor who is a farmer, and I know that his plantain is just ripening and it's about to be harvested, I won't go there the night to go and harvest it because it's not in my farm. So that is the in-between line where we have to appeal to ourselves, to our moral consciences. And we also know that unfortunately, religion has bastardized so many of these things because then there's some things we have to check. I was watching a video yesterday where somebody carried like 4 or 5 phones and is probably purportedly taking it to church so that they can pray for miracle alerts, miracle credit alerts. When this kind of shenanigans is allowed and celebrated, then our fight against corruption will become an uphill task. Sorry, I'm combining so many things at the same time.
Thank you, sir. I also, began to imagine that this would also become, it's also seemed too voluminous, to be handled. And I see how you are struggling to jump from one aspect of the discussions or the topic to the other. So no matter how we look at it, it is voluminous. So I look at, okay, can we break it down into smaller parts? Let's look at corruption among the citizens, among politicians, civil servants, how in this, small, even though it's not that small, but for us to be able to narrow it down. I would also look at the role of religion, and even though you just mentioned it now, an average Nigerian is either a Christian or a Muslim, or he believes in some traditional practice. So it's just about a very few percentage of Nigerians, if it's probably less than 1% of Nigerians, you would see that they will say they don't believe in any super or supernatural power. So which means, what is the role that this belief, religious practices, what role do they play in helping us at least minimize corruption? I think I will go there first, but I won't post that to Tosin. Let my friend show. How do you think religion can help us in minimizing the impact of corruption in Nigeria?
All right.
And I'll come back to Tosin with regard to civil servants.
Good evening once again. The village boy. It's been a while, sir. Citizen Oluwatosin, I greet you, my brother. All right.
Welcome.
I will not be blowing big grammars here like Baba will do. The thing about Nigeria as a whole, it's very unfortunate I was unable to join last week, and it was going to happen to me again tonight. That was why I just parked. I parked at the middle of the road somewhere and just joined. Nigeria as a country is not something that just started to like you guys have said earlier. And even before the first or second region, the republic rather, when we still have the regional division of Nigeria, corruption has been there. And like you guys said, it's not something we will just, it will be too ambitious for us to just come around and say, how do we eradicate it? But rather than that, we'll say, how do we reduce it to the minimum? Now, going to impact of religion on civil servants or on corruption. If you ask me what would solve our problem as a Nigerian, is we should go back to the religion of our forefathers, where we will have our cutlasses. Baba, you can buttress what I'm saying. Now, we embrace these foreign religions, the Christianity, the Islam, and they were able to use it to manipulate us to do their shows. We have our pastors, we have our fathers, our imams, cajoling and canvassing their church members to do their bidding, while they are answering to the people in power. Does it mean that even, I don't know, I wasn't born then, Ogun, it was a superstition that Ogun just vanished into the thin air, Shogo disappeared, went into the river. Those powers are still there. Why don't we call our people in legislative power to swear an oath with cutlass, with Ogun, with Shogo, and we should simply embrace other people's idea. We keep embracing Western culture for bad things only, but the good things among the Western culture, we never embrace them. Why don't we emulate China and behead anybody that steals civil servant money or public funds in the market square? Let them call us barbarians, but they will stop doing it. If you ask me, this is what I would just suggest, because religion has a negative impact on Nigerian politics today. The fact still remains that I will not keep that Nigerians, we are not patriotic. We are not just good people. We easily point accusing or blaming fingers on people like government, while even some of us cannot even manage our family of 3 or 4. I watched a preview of one of the village boy Baba's comment. This thing started from the 70s, the 50s, and it's like a virus. Corruption in Nigeria is a genetic virus that has spread way back and later become eradicated. Besides inheriting it. Nigeria as a country, we are enriched with high level of human capacity. But even at that, we are being drawn back. Where do we want to start from? The First Republic, when we have Tafawa Balewa and Nnamdi Azikiwe, or when Aguiyi became and took over from them, locked them up and started arresting them. They didn't even allow him to spend 1 month before they took over from him. Go on. And did you know that since then, people are working with them and watching them closely, watching their dirty deeds and observing them. And these people are their gate man, their cook, their chef, their driver, their head. So corruption is deep. If you ask me the only way to eradicate corruption in Nigeria, first, we need to love Nigeria as a country, individually. We don't love that country. We are just deceiving ourselves. The moment they give the next person power, he's going there to embezzle. He's going there to do his own shit too. Imagine they will do bridge, and the Nigerian will tell me because he is hungry. Baba just mentioned one thing, Omoluabi. What is our Omoluabi? I will say it loudly. Yoruba is one of the most respectful ethnic group in the world with our culture and tradition. So because I am hungry now, I will go to the Tomiland Bridge or Fort Milan Bridge that they are doing and start cutting the cable And I will say government is not good. This thing is deep in our blood. It has transferred from generation to generation, another generation to the other generation. And it has spread widely to the grassroots. And we will be the one in the grassroots shouting a big family. But the next, after today, they will shout a big family. Find them on Saturday. The best party, you find them there. Buying clothes as a bill of 100,000 naira. And they'll be telling you, by one bag of gari is 98,000. And they will buy a Shoebi that does not concern them in that ceremony for 100 and something thousand naira. And we think that country will be good like that. We don't even love the country ourselves. So not to talk too much because I know I will not stop. I think we should just go back. First, we should love Nigeria. Then I think we will love the country individually. We will stop all these things. Because we would always think of Nigeria first before every other thing. Secondly, we should start swearing and beheading people that steal money. So that people will be scared to go into governance. They know they will behead me if I do bad things. I rest my case.
Thank you, sure. Okay, we should go back to using Ogun to swear. But I doubt if that will, because even our forefathers were swearing with Ogun, and some of them were swearing falsely. And we didn't see, at least, I am over 40 years old, and I've never seen anybody, maybe, I think once, there was one heavy rain like that in my village, and there was thunder.
A thunder strike. There was a thunder strike, have you?
But no, there's no proof that anybody, I mean, in my 40 years or over 40 years, that's the only one that I've heard. So people, how many people they use Ogun, they cost themselves for Lagos every day, on every minute. How many people Ogun don't really kill? So anyway, moving on from that. Tosin, how do you think corruption can be curbed in the civil service, for instance?
Okay, thank you very much. And nice conversation, really. Nice conversation. In the civil service, how can corruption be curbed? The government too, they're in civil service, right? I've been a public service.
Well, the
civil service part of the governance, no?
The government is a part of it, but the government are mostly, they are in a democracy like ours, they are politicians. So I want us to group. We will talk about the politicians separately, but now let's talk about those who are in the bureaucrats, the civil service generally. Civil servants, they are in every place. They are the one doing whatever government is doing. They are the one carrying it out. Start talking about police, ministry, staff, teachers, all of these people. They are civil servants.
Okay. To curb corruption in civil servants, the people overseeing that civil service, which is the government, must imbibe the culture of rewarding good behavior and punishing bad behaviors. So far, good behaviors are not being rewarded as it should, and bad behaviors are not being punished as it should. Corruption will not stop in the society, in the church, in the country, among politicians. It will not stop, especially in our workforce. So apart from rewarding and punishing all this, another thing is due identification. Thank God for the NIN that we are having currently, the BVN we had before and all that. But how effective are all this? If their NIN, BVN is linked to individuals, people would know that they cannot keep money they cannot account for in their bank accounts. If people will know that there's going to be punishment for bad behavior, somebody that is earning 400,000 or 100,000 plus will not be buying cars worth millions and building house, and they will not be displaying wealth that they cannot explain. So duly identification will also help. I don't know how effective the BVN has been, because we still we still have cases of politicians and government of public servants that have multiple accounts when they said only one person per BVN. They're having multiple accounts. They are transferring money, government money, where they are working, public funds, transferring it to different bank accounts. So those are the ways we can curb corruption. And there is no how we can eradicate corruption in the country if the government are not ready. There's no way we can curb corruption in the country if the government are not ready, because these are the people where we are entrusted with powers to leaders as leaders in the country. And fish, we always think that one from the head. Let us leave aside religious leaders, Muslim, Christian, and all that. Let us leave those on her. When our government are ready, when government is ready, religious leaders, they will sit right. Example of that is what we have some time ago in Rwanda, when the president became and asked all religious guys to go and get educated. And each one of them that do not have the certificate to practice, their centers were locked. So whenever government are ready, everyone will sit right. Nobody will give any excuse, because Yoruba will say ìjọba amúni mú something, amúni mú àbí ẹ má bínú. Ó ṣe bí òwe o. God bless you, sir. So amúnimóògùn. So even oògùn tá a sọ pé kọ́ máa bú yẹn, ìjọba máa mú èèyàn, ó máa tún móògùn ẹ̀. How many babaláwo they don go parade for even police station? Ọ̀jẹ̀ mélòó ló ti lọ ta fílefìlé gbòòrò tí ọlọ́pàá ti gbé eégún gan? So ìjọba, government, they preside over the affair of everyone and everything in a country. Whenever they are ready, whenever government are ready, and we cannot even say all this without laying emphasis to the first few months of Buhari in power. Everyone that heard of him, because majority of the people available that time were not alive when he was the president during the military regime, but they have heard of him that he's Miss Greskia, he's man of integrity, he doesn't allow this, he introduced why he's against corruption and all that. The first few months of his administration, everybody sit right. Everybody in the country start behaving well, until they start to see that this guy is also Gabujeri, like us.
Buhari was a fulefu.
So until when they see that this one is no difference, come on, let us everybody now relax. So whenever government, even the sitting president that time, he succumb, because even him admitted that his government is being polluted with bad people. And if this guy that is coming is this, is that, is against corruption, okay, let's have him surrender. But when he get there and everybody say that there's no difference, everybody continues. So government are in position, because talking about rewarding good character and punishing bad behaviors, who is going to do that? Our government also. Talking about the identification of everybody and making them effective, because they're already there. BVN is already there. But we still have state governors stealing money in trillions of naira, borrowing money, getting loans that they cannot point to how they use those loans. So making all this effective also is with the government. So there is no how we can discuss how to eradicate corruption without talking about having good governance, having the right people in power, having people that are ready to fix the country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tosin. Thank you. Village Boy, can you please And I want us to, perhaps every one of us, to also have an input in this particular one, and which is, how do we as citizens, what's our role in minimizing, if we are not using the word eradicate, in minimizing corruption in our society? What would our roles as citizens be? And our citizens means every one of us, including politicians, civil servants, and those of us who are just ordinary citizens but passionate ones. What's our role?
Thank you very much. But let me quickly respond to Mr. Lumide case on the religious something. Going back to the religion of our forefathers. As if the religion of our forefathers is immune from corruption. Let me just use two proverbs for you. There is a proverb that in those days, people have been blackmailed, and because there was instant judgment, and they are beheaded, only to find out that they were not guilty. So that is that. Then we always say sarcastically sometimes, why do we give name Fakunda to people? So is it not because if I stop corruption and change voice? So it is not a guarantee. It is about people. People have learned to manipulate things from time immemorial. Religion, uh, religion or no religion. So I don't think that is the issue. So we cannot overly say that is a solution, because people swear and they go back and again they do a one or share. They look for the error of the swearing they swear in the public. So people have known, when people have known to manipulate things, so they it's difficult to to say, okay, going back to a particular religion will be a solution. I don't think that will be a solution. The solution lies with us as human. Now, coming back to your question, permit me to use the example that I wrote in my book, Thoughts of a Village Boy, that where I was kind of having a conversation with the government officials who was trying to encourage me to falsify the accounts so that government can be unchanged and the officials could have more money in their pockets. And I said, look, I was not going to do that. And the person told me, share never for Nigeria money. It's see you that will clean Nigeria. And I'm talking about 1997. So we're not talking of something of yesterday. So look at 1997 to date. And that time, it was even still a bit okay. I think the thing has gone from bad to worse since that time. So an individual it's left for us as individual to decide, okay, I am not going to, by reply, I said, okay, if I'm not going to be able to clean Nigeria myself, I will not contribute to her death. Meaning that I decided I will not partake in corruption. At least I will not add my own to that corruption. So I think it's left for individual to take that decision. Then the consequence of that decision is like, when you take such a decision, you should also be ready to be deprived. You can be deprived of what you are ordinarily entitled to. Many of us we have had consequences of being denied promotion. We have had consequences of being bypassed in things that ordinarily should have come to us, because we believe that we are taking this extreme position of not cooperating with others. There are instances where people have been eliminated. I know a lot of many auditors, internal auditors, external auditors that have been killed because they refuse to compromise. So when you look at the price to say, okay, I want to stand and stand firm and I don't want to be corrupt, you should also be able to know that there are consequences for taking such actions. But then the question is, how many people are willing to take such sacrifice? There are people ordinarily who are not corrupt by nature, but because of the fear of the unknown, the fear of being ganged up against, they succumb. It's a matter of, if you cannot beat them, you join them. So it is not. It is an individual to decide to count the cost. So you have to count the cost of not. Somebody is having two system. Abby, okay. Paul, maybe you will mute first. Are you open in two places? Okay, thank you. So you have individuals. We can decide as at individual level that okay, I'm not going to be a partaker of the corruption. I'm not going to contribute to it. But if you find yourself in a group, in an organization where the tendency is for everybody to be corrupt, and you choose to stand aloof, be very assured that you are working on eggshell and you are working on a tightrope. So you should also be able to weigh the consequences that what whatever happens to you, you can choose to say, okay, I'm not going to do it, irrespective of what comes to me. So there are instances many of us have to run from some employment because they were after our lives because of the stance we took. Not trying to compromise all these things. So it's costly, especially now that it has become a system, a culture. People don't like give a damn. In fact, you are regarded as being foolish if you don't partake in the corruption today. So individuals can make it happen, but there are costs. There are costs to that. There are consequences for taking that kind of stand. In the as an individual. Again, like I said earlier on, the if you focus on addressing the corruption of needs, if you focus on enforcing social justice, then we might see a rapid change over time. It's not going to happen overnight, because like when you are used to something that is easier than what you labor for, it's really very difficult to give up. So if people are prepared to bear the burden, if there are people who are prepared to make the sacrifices, it is doable. But the question is how many people are willing to suffer the consequences of not being corrupt.
Thank you very much, sir. Sorry, I had to change from my laptop to the phone because the laptop was going to shut down any moment from now. That was the reason for the interruption. I'm sorry. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay. So now the village boy has laid the foundation for that topic, and I want to see the contribution of individuals, that is Show and Tosin, in terms of what role we believe that as individuals, as citizens, that we can contribute. So starting with Tosin, let's see what you think the role that we can play as citizens. Then let's do this within the next 1 minute or two minutes at most, so that we can look at the babanlas, that's the politicians. How how can politicians can corruption that is perpetrated at the levels of the politicians be reduced? Tosin.
Okay, as individuals, as citizens, how can we eradicate corruption in the country? The village boy has laid a lot of emphasis and good background on that. People, there's consequences to everything, whether we stand with the good or with the bad. So, what we need to do as citizen is what Show have said the other time: love our country. When we love our country well, then we will not do anything bad against it. Another thing we can do as a citizen is to be a whistleblower. Is to be a whistleblower about corruption that is happening in the society. When we do this, when we are a whistleblower and watchdog among ourselves, corruption can be minimized to barest minimum, because when I know that if I engage in something bad, the next person that is seeing me will not ask for his own shares, but will raise alarm. When I know that person will not be compromised, I will do the right thing. The reason also pé ẹni tó gbépo lájà kò jalè, ẹni tó gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ òun ni ẹ má bínú ẹ̀yin àgbà o. So, so when we, as much as we are enabling,
but then let me correct that why you did not actually say it very well. Any people like that nìkan kọ́ ló lè.
Oh, okay. Okay, ẹni tó gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ náà ó enable. Because tí o bá rẹ́ni gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ kò sí bó ṣe máa jí.
It will be difficult.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Agbaya Dale. So, if we have people, individuals that will propose themselves not to dip their hands into corruption, it is not easy. But I think maybe when we get to the part of the government, because the government themselves need some government organization, national reorientation. As a nation, Nigeria, we need national reorientation. Everybody needs to be reorientated about how things should be done the right way, not the way we have known it to be, but the way it should be. So as individuals, as citizens, starting from our family, every one of us will be becoming old and becoming fathers and becoming mentors to the next generation. What example are we giving to the next generation? How are we correcting the next generation? How are we copying them? What message are we passing out each time we have opportunity to be among the next generation? This is also a way in which we can reorientate the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tosin. Sure.
All right. Baba, you've said well. Tosin, you've said well as well. People will say the other, not people. Is it the chairman for NGGC or what? He said from top to bottom. Okay, I will start like this. If, as an individual, our impact in correcting this thing is from bottom to the top, and it all comes down to Omoluabi. While we were growing up, you cannot bring something your parents did not give you home, and you will not be questioned properly. Just dazzling a little bit into the governance. Nobody is going to sit in the House of Assembly, in the Rep, in the Senate, even in presidency, that doesn't come from one home, that it doesn't come from one background, one grassroots, one local government, one village. Everybody came from somewhere. What our parents would preach to our hearing, I think it's one of the vital things that will change this country. They've been preaching a lot of things to us while we were growing up. All of a sudden, people stop caring. Their children will bring exotic cars home. Their brothers and uncles will bring things that doesn't belong to them home, and nobody is questioning nobody. Everybody just feels it's okay. Patriotism is not something you just pick all of a sudden. It's the love that you keep in your heart for that said country. Like I said earlier, we are not patriotic. Somebody will say, how many times have you wake up and pray for Nigeria? I say, which Nigeria? Is Nigeria giving me social security? And you would think the Nigeria will be good? You just want to jump into conclusion We are cook at pointing finger. I keep saying it. The only way we can contribute individually is to love the country first and love ourselves and be observant about each other. If we are sending somebody from the grassroots and that person loves his own village, love his own people, love him or herself, his gathering, he will not get there and start doing bad things. Where is the love? Where is the lesson that we have been taught? Nobody is even teaching nobody again. Government will not come and organize seminar to tell us don't be corrupt when they are the corruption themselves. So we still fall back to the grassroots. We still need to start loving ourselves, bringing ourselves up back in the proper way, setting our foot on the right path again, because we have all gone astray. And it is easy to go astray by learning all these Western ideas. Corruption is everywhere all over the world. It's even deep somewhere else in somewhere else than Nigeria. But the Nigeria own, where is our etiquette of life? Where is our love? Where are all these things? So in a nutshell, let's just go back to our grassroots and rebuild ourselves from there so that we can build ourselves from bottom back to the top. I rest my case, please.
Thank you, Sho. Now that is, I think people like Tosin would probably criticize you to say we build from the grassroots, because it is believed that fish start getting spoiled from the head. So it is actually, and I am also I believe in the philosophy that all right, that parents, as a student of psychology, I know that children, they don't know anything. They don't hate anybody. They don't unnecessarily love anybody. If you smile to them, they smile back to you. If you show them love, they show you love. You know, it is the adults, parents, that actually make children who they become. All right, even though there have been few instances whereby you see parents giving so much, including attention and resources, and then they find out that the child still goes astray. But in most cases, actually, it is what you give to the children that you get back in terms of who they become, in terms of attitude and makeup. And I want to quickly respond also to Tosin about data capturing in Nigeria, that is NIN and BVN. I think it works. The only thing that is lacking is that there is no synergy, there is no synchronization. We have to merge all of the data. Data is collected everywhere. Every day, police is collecting data. LASMA is collecting data. NIN, the banks, everybody is collecting data, including what do you call them? These people that conduct elections. All of them are collecting data. But do we have it synced together? Such that everybody's data is connected. And I think to an extent it is connected. Like, you cannot get a SIM card in Nigeria without it being registered. I think after a while it gets blocked out, just like it is in some other places, So, but it's the will. It's the will to say, okay, this person has corrupted, is done something wrong. Let's go and catch him. That's what I think we're not doing, So it is the human factor, the civil servant, the policeman, the who else? The officials who carry out the law, or who execute the law or implement it. They are the ones that's culpable. And who are they? They are our brothers and sisters, our uncles and aunties. Anyway, let's look at the issue of politicians. Politicians, what role? And I don't think any of us, apart from maybe Sho, is actively would identify as a politician. All right. But now, what role do we play, or do politicians play in minimizing the level of corruption in Nigeria? I'll start again with the village boy. We have 8 minutes altogether.
It is not about, it's not as straightforward as we look at it. Let me refer to an account of some notable politicians. I remembered late Bola Ige when he became Minister of Power, or energy, whatever they call it, electricity. He gave account of when on the weekend, the DG or whatever in the ministry brought a bag of money, so envelope of money, about 500K. Say, honorable minister, for your, in case we need something to, need money to spend for weekend pocket money. And the guy say, what for? Say, well, that's what they do here. And I can imagine if so civil servants corrupt politicians, basically. That is on one leg. This is somebody who had been a governor before. This is somebody who had been forefront of progressive social welfare state and all that. These are people that implemented free education in their state. So he was wondering, what is this money for? So a minister, and they don't sign for those money. They don't sign. My conspiracy thinking as an auditor is that, okay, if a DG or PAMSEC bring 500,000 to any amount to the minister for weekend pocket money in case you want to entertain visitor and all that, so without the proper documentation, how much will the permanent secretary go and take? Because like I always say, so you can't be giving minister weekend pocket money and your own pocket is empty. I think civil service are even more culpable than the politicians. That is on the one side. On the second side of political corruption is like election is create room, a bedroom for corruption. If I have to buy votes, if I have to sell houses, if I have to sell cars to contest for a position, I'm investing. And when you invest, you want to gain your money back and with some profit, is it not? So I think our electionary system also has to be looked into. The electionary system allows the politicians to be corrupt because they are made to spend an reasonable amount to contest for election. And when they win, they have to recoup their money. And how do they recoup their money? By dipping their hands into the Commonwealth. So on the one side, the election is promoting corruption. The electionary system is promoting corruption. On the other side, the civil servant is enabling or showing, in quote, the politicians where the chop is. So, and I mean, it's because Bola spoke out that we had that one. I also read of recent of somebody was a pastor and was made a commissioner. And the first thing they said that the wife told him that, okay, now that I'm a wife of commissioner, you have to change my car. I can't be using this same car I was using before. You have to change my wardrobe. So I can't be wearing the same car I was wearing before because my husband is now a commissioner. And he said before they sworn him, he had to take a loan of 7 million. 7 million to give that from the day they announced his name, people were trucking his house. Some people will come, they will eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner in his house. Some will come, they say, oh, they send your children away from school. They will ask him for school fees. Some will come and will ask, okay, my wife gave back to bed. We don't have money to do naming ceremony. Give us money to buy goat and rice. He said he took a loan of 7 million before even stepping into office. So how will he pay back? And that was before he was running. Then you can imagine what will happen when he now properly assume office as a commissioner. This is just a commissioner, not the governor. So if our people, that is maybe the way I can agree with Olumide, our people also, they enable, they contributed. I mean, even when you are in the private sector, I was told when I was an MD of a public company, they told me, this is not story, that this is your time to make money. This is your, I said, okay, I should be stealing. They said, what? It is true that if you don't do what you have to do, I hope when you leave this place, you will not regret it. Because we left and we regret it, but we are not ashamed that we regret. I actually went into what we call serious poverty when I left, because I had nothing on me for years. So the truth is that the people you are saying, the people also, they are enablers of people. If they make somebody commissioner in your church, in your mosque, in your village, you are not demanding for him to have a good governor. You are asking him to give you undue advantage because it is his time. So our attitude to, we push the politicians, but the civil service, for me, I think I would say the civil service is the most corrupt. I want to talk about civil service. You talk about the police, you talk about the customs, you talk about immigration, you talk about those working in the ministry. They are the people that show the politicians the way to corruption. Again, election also make it a bit, almost compulsory for the one average politician to be corrupt. So if they appoint your brother as a commissioner now, what will you call him to advise him how to govern very well, or you will call him to say, which contract are you going to give to me? So now that you are our people, we have our people on the seat. We also, it's our time to enjoy you. So these are all that put together that lead to all these things.
True. Thank you, sir. I think that's where the biggest problem is. Our culture permits whatever you earn or whatever you make, it does not belong to you alone. And it is what it is. And people are committed. If people see, say, in fact, if you, even on Facebook, if you dress very well, Tosin can relate. Go to one joint and sit down, let somebody take you a very nice selfie, post on Facebook. Some people go, they begin to comment. People have not commented for years on your post. Now in the next 1 week, do the same in another location. You see somebody, people will come to your DM and begin to send you message, and they,
Do give it away.
some of these people.
It's not 1 week. Immediately you post the picture, you begin to receive message on DM. We have not eaten since 5 days. We have not.
Yeah. Yeah. So now imagine where they hear the name of somebody, is being proposed as a commissioner. People already start thronging into their house, and it's across board, regardless of where you come from in Nigeria. This is how we enable corruption. Anyway, Tosin, sure you would do your own. So let's take 2 minutes. That way we can close. We would have spent 1 hour.
To outcome corruption within our politicians, right? We need to start electing politicians that truly love the country, politicians that know what they are doing. Nigerians should stop electing idiots, people that clearly they should not have anything to do with power in the first place. Nigerians should stop electing those that are lazy, those that in their life they don't have any track record, they don't have anything they have done for themselves, or even if they have something they have done for themselves, but they are not capable. If you look around Nigeria now, many guys are governors now that they don't have any business being a governor. They are 95% of the governors are lazy. They are lazy. They are not innovative. They have a lot of idea deficit. So in order to curb corruption in politics, Nigerians should elect those that are capable, those that truly love the country. And these people are not, they are not aliens. Every electoral year, people that can deliver in each state, each constitution, each constituent post, each state as governor, senators, even president, people come out. But when these people come out, somebody will even tell you that I know this guy can deliver, but if I vote for him, I will just waste my vote.
Nigeria,
I know this guy can.
We
He
will say
will.
it now. We told you before now. We just vote, you hold your vote.
Relax, relax. And that is a misconception. And that is how the country will not get better. When people start having this type of thoughts that they will lose their vote, and we have citizens that is also telling others that they will lose their vote when they vote for a particular person that is more capable than others. So you cannot be here, you cannot be saying you want a nation that is free of corruption and be electing corrupt leaders. There's nowhere in the world where you have corrupt leaders leading the country that you will have a country that is working and is corruption free. Fish will always stink downward from the head. The family this, the family that. We will want to excuse the family. Let us. Who are the ones that were put in place? Who are the ones that were put in place morals? Who are the ones that will put in place national reorientation of the whole country? Is it not the government? And can people give what they don't have? We can say citizens are operating. There's a video that surfaced the other time of people removing the iron some metals that were used to construct the second Niger Bridge and the third mainland bridge. And people were criticizing them. What they have done is very bad. And if such people are found, they should be sentenced. I support that 100%. But it is our elders also that said, "Ọmọ tá a bá kọ́ ló máa gbélé tá a kọ́ tà."
No, I'm missing.
We have neglected if the government have neglected the citizens and the right orientations are not in them. And we also accuse people of not loving their country. How can you love a country when you know your country is rich? When you know your country is rich in resources and all the riches are being eaten by a smaller group of people alone and it's not extended to you, where will your patriotism, where will it lie? So the government have a lot of things to do in eradicating corruption in Nigeria. We the people also have a lot of things to do during election. Don't take corrupt money from people. When they pay you, when they bring rice, when they bring oil and you collect it from them, it becomes impossible to vote against them during election. Let them know you don't need
Those you
their
don't
things.
more than 3 minutes.
Let them know, okay, let me round up here. Let them know you don't need their things, but you need them to function well when they get to power. So Nigerians just need to start voting in people that are capable, people that have the track record that they can fix the country. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tosin. Sure. Please don't take more than 2 minutes.
Okay, let me try. There's two factors here. First, I will buttress Baba with civil servants, and secondly, godfatherism. Since Nolu Atosi just mentioned something now that we should start voting people, I will tell you, I don't even know you when you get to power. I know you now to be a nice guy, good guy, but the moment you have that power, the moment you are sitting there, I don't know you again, and I don't know what you will become. So it all falls back to parenting and omoluabi. Now let me go to the major point. Major point: godfatherism in Nigeria is killing our politicians. It's everywhere all over the world, yeah. But the way it's being run here in Nigeria, it's a different ballgame entirely. So in our governance, in the Nigerian governance, we should always think about this godfather sitting strongly somewhere and dictating what people will do. Now, who have the ultimate power to even shut the politician up, shut the godfathers up? They are the civil servants. They are you and I, my father and your father, your uncle and my uncle, heading different ministries. But because they came out and were not even taught well. They were not brought up in the God's way. They were not God fearing. They are the ones that will even tell the politicians what to do. Civil servants make presidents in Nigeria. The Ramadan Mohammed came in. When he came in, Obasanjo was the chief of staff. He did not spend 6 months before they gunned him down. And Baba Obasanjo took up and became head of state. Those are civil servants, people that will be under you, directing you and pushing you left and right to do bad things. And who are these civil servants answerable to? The Godfathers. See, because if you say we should go to the top and bring it to the down, which top? Those ones that are rotten already. They are not just corrupt, they are rotten. So I think we should just go back home, restructure ourselves, retrain our children, build a better future for Nigeria. Because this present future is in God's hands. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate your time and the fantastic discussions that we have had so far. This is the third session, and I think we should just on this topic of corruption. There's so many things that we can, talk about, but we've done 3 sessions, and I still feel like we've not done justice to it. But what is our own is to do our bit and then move forward. So on this note, I want to say thank you for everyone that has contributed, especially Timileyi, who is not able to join us today for the show tonight. We will be looking at other subjects from next week, God willing. So I want to thank my guests and say thank you very much. We appreciate you, the Village Boy Show. Tosin, thank you very much. So in one seconds, please, if possible. We've spent 1 hour 7 minutes now, and I want to be a man of integrity such that we don't spend more than 1 hour. So let's just say our goodbyes, starting with the Village Boy.
Thank you very much. The bottom line is like corruption or no corruption is with the individual. You can choose, just like Daniel proposing himself, not to enjoy the deity of the king. You can choose not to contribute to the corruption. I mean, you may not be able to wash Nigeria clean, but don't contribute to the debts of Nigeria. Shun corruption. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sure.
As a Nigerian, put the love of the country first. Stop thinking about the government is not doing this, government is not doing that, so I have to join the bad clique. Choose to be a good person. Be a good example for your own children and your parents. Thank you.
Thank you, Remy, the politician. Tosin, you're muted.
Okay, thank you very much for the show. Thanks for joining, everyone. We hope that the little seed we have sprinkled tonight will germinate wherever it landed in the society. And as individuals too, we try from our part to be a good citizen. Another thing we can do is to continually speak up when we see something bad in society, continually hold our government accountable. Being in government and not having the capacity to deliver and getting all the benefits of that office itself is corruption. Thank you very much. Have a nice week ahead.
Thank you very much, Tosin. Thank you, everyone. A few years ago, I made a decision to be a good citizen, to do my best, to be the best that I can be, to be a man of integrity, to stand for what is right wherever I go, whether in Nigeria or outside of Nigeria. Deal with all humans fairly, according to my conscience. And I'm imploring everyone that has seen this, especially for those of us who are Nigerians, that you would do your best. You would choose, even when when it's not fashionable, when it seems not to pay, that you will stand your ground and stand for what is right. Not just because of you alone, but for the benefit of everyone that will come across you, for the benefit of the country, and for the good of the world at large. So thank you very much. My name is Faduma Biodun Paul, and this is Opinion Sharers. We're inviting anyone who wants to join, who feel like you have gotten something to contribute in terms of opinions on any topic whatsoever. That's what this platform is meant to achieve. So I want to welcome you again, and I'm saying thank you as we close for today. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate you. We thank you for all that have shared, all that have watched, liked, or comment. We appreciate you. We see you again 5 p.m. Nigerian time on next week Saturday. Bye bye from all of us here.